Hello and welcome. I am so excited that you are here today. If you are in your third trimester and you find yourself waking up and saying, I cannot do this any longer, if your hips hurt, if you are not able to sleep well at night, then first of all, relax because I got you. I got you. I got hacks for all of it, and I'm going to be sharing it today. As a matter of fact, I have a bonus hack that I'm going to throw in at the end, so be sure to stick around. That hack is going to help you manage your labor. So you definitely want to stay tuned. If this is the first time that you are catching my live, my name is Stephanie Poole. I am a certified doula and lactation consultant. I help first-time moms prepare for their birth and breastfeeding journey with confidence and clarity. So if that is you, I want you to tap in the comments and let me know your due date. Drop your due date in the comments so I can get to know you, and yeah, we'll meet there. You know, I love to chat. If you go in under any of my videos, you'll see that I respond to all of the comments. I absolutely love getting to know you. So make sure you leave your due date below. All right, now without further ado, if you've been on one of my other lives, you know I like to just jump in. So with that being said, let's talk about why, and I have my trusty notes here, y'all, so bear with me because I don't want to leave a thing out. But I want to talk about, first off, why is it important to even have a plan as you go into the third trimester? And I felt like it was important to do this live because now you're in the thick of it, right? We're in the fourth quarter of this pregnancy. And this is important to talk about because so many people feel like, well, you're at the home stretch, you can just coast. But in reality, your body is working harder in the third trimester than it did in the first trimester to even establish your pregnancy. Your body's working harder now. So it's important to really talk about and have a game plan for this last stretch to really get you through. Your body is working harder. Your baby is growing faster. Your baby grows fast in every trimester, right? But that last trimester, their lungs are finishing off, their brain is finishing off, the fat, their body fat is finishing off. Like, it's a whole situation. And so we really need to get you a game plan so you can make it through this pregnancy and not just survive it. I want you guys to thrive in your pregnancy. I want this third trimester to really be something that you can enjoy as you transition into motherhood. If that sounds good to you and you are ready to hop in, then go ahead and make a comment below. Just let me know with the heart that you are here for today's live. All right, so the first hack, I have 5 for you, right? And like I said, I have my trusty notes. So I'm going down the list and I'm going to do 5 of the hacks here. So the first hack is to help you sleep at 9 months. If I've heard a ton of things from moms in their third trimester, it's about their lack of sleep. So if you are really struggling there, let me know in the comments if you're struggling with your sleep. So I have a few suggestions for you. If you don't know, attending one of my lives is like a full-on masterclass. So you might want to get your notes app out and take a few notes here. But the first thing I'm going to tell you about in order to improve your sleep in the third trimester is, number 1, a pregnancy pillow. If you follow my week-by-week pregnancy guides, you will hear me talk about it, and I introduced it in the second trimester because it's something I want you to invest in that you're going to need as soon as your baby bump starts to pop out, right? but it will carry you all the way through postpartum. So a pregnancy pillow is key, especially in the third trimester. The second thing I'm going to suggest is something that I want you to get approved by your provider, but it is something over the counter. It's just a magnesium spray or a magnesium lotion. And this is something that you can apply at night, right? To just help you to relax and to get into a sleepful mode, right? So I want you to, again, talk to your provider, because without knowing everyone's medical condition and the condition of your baby, I always like to work in tandem with your providers, right, that know you specifically. But this is something that you could definitely suggest to them at your next appointment, so that you guys can really determine if this is a viable hack for you, right? And I'm going to tell you why in just a minute. I'm going to put all of this together for you. But applying the magnesium spray or lotion at night is really going to help you to relax. The last thing I have is to create a night routine. It's so powerful to have a routine in place. Why? Because number one, it will help you to look forward to going to sleep. The one thing that you haven't been getting a lot of lately, right? And second of all, having a nighttime routine helps to signal to your brain and to your body it's time to relax. Now, here is the power up mode, right? Using all three of these together: your baby pillow, your pregnancy pillow, your magnesium spray, or maybe a relaxing tea, right? If you talk to your provider and the magnesium spray is not an option for you, then try some relaxing tea. Let's say you do those two things. And then combine it, right, with a night routine where you start to wind down, maybe a nice warm shower, and then you have your tea or apply the lotion, and then you get into bed and you have your pregnancy pillow there waiting for you. This combination is going to help you get into a restful sleep. Okay? Now, it might not be for a full 8 hours because your body is changing and you may need to shift through the night, but it's going to improve the quality of sleep that you're getting in your third trimester. So I want you to definitely try that combination. Let me say it one quick time: pregnancy pillow, a magnesium spray or lotion, a relaxing tea, and a nighttime routine. I want you to power it up with putting them together for a nighttime routine. And I want you to come back to this video after you tried it and let me know if you were able to get some improved sleep even in your third trimester. I know it's going to work for you. You can thank me later. Okay. Hack number 2 is to beat the bloat and swelling. So another thing that I often hear from moms in their third trimester is when I hear them talk about how they have swelling and bloating that they didn't have maybe in some of the other trimesters. And so I have a few things for that. Again, you should be taking all of this down in your notes app. First up is lemon water. Lemon water. I know it's simple, but it is super effective. And I actually have a few reasons why I want you to tap into lemon water as just one component of this hack. First up, it helps with digestion. It helps with nausea. It also is a boost of natural vitamin C, which is also very healthy for both you and baby. And it reduces the swelling because it helps to get rid of excess sodium. Okay? So lemon water does all of that just on its own. Now, I will give this this caveat. Remember that when you are drinking the lemon water, that you use a straw. We don't want to mess up the enamel on your teeth. So be sure to, especially because this is going to be a part of your regular regimen in the third trimester. So you definitely need to use a straw with it, okay? The next part of this hack to handle your bloat and swelling Again, I have my trusty notes I keep referring to. Keep your feet elevated. That's very important. You're going to probably hear that from your provider as well. The other component is to wear compression socks. Compression socks are super helpful. They help to reduce swelling. They will help to ease the fatigue in your leg. And then last but not least, they also, and this is a big one for compression socks, because you'll see a lot of women or people just in general who wear compression socks that aren't pregnant, right? Because of how helpful they are. And a big reason for that is because they reduce the risk of DVT or blood clots, okay? And so that's also really good. And it just helps push your blood back up so that it's not, it helps with that circulation. You have an increased blood volume by being pregnant. Pregnant women, they have more blood, right? Because they have to support not just themselves, but you have to support your baby. And so in order to keep that circulation flowing well, we need to make sure that we are pushing that blood back up. Compression socks help to do that. All right, so that's what I have for helping to battle the bloat and the swelling. Moving on to hack number 3, y'all, we are working right through the list, is how to really combat mental overwhelm in that third trimester. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. You're going to appointments, and your doctor is likely seeing you more often now, right? Because you're getting closer to that finish line. So you have more appointments. You're trying to finish off things as far as prepping for the baby. And if you're a first-time mom, you are likely feeling overwhelmed just from not knowing, right, what to expect, because you're going to be doing this all for the first time. So one of the things I want to tell you as far as the hack for this one is to, first of all, if you don't believe that this is going to end in a positive way for you because you just don't know what to expect, then I want you to borrow some of my beliefs, because I'm 100% convinced that you are going to birth and you are going to birth well. So that's number one. Borrow some of mine if you don't have enough on your own. The second thing I want you to do is journal how you feel. Put it down on paper. Sometimes just seeing it and getting it out is super helpful. So make sure you do that. And then also, I want you to start planning the care for your baby and for your birth in small doses. A lot of the overwhelm comes when we start to think about everything in totality. We're thinking about everything from A to Z. And what we really need to do to get a hold of that overwhelm is to break it down into small bites. So make sure that when you're planning in sections. You're planning small tasks here and there. And then what you'll see with the journaling is that you'll start to see that progress. It really adds up. That will help you to reaffirm the belief in this being a positive birth experience for you. Okay? All right, hack number 4, prepping your body for labor. This is so important. I have a few things here that I want to read off, things that you can do to prep your body. Things like red raspberry leaf tea. How many people have heard about that? It's all over the internet. You can start to take that after speaking with your provider, of course. But it's definitely one of those natural remedies that has been around for a very long time to just help your body prep for birth. Also, you can eat dates, depending on your medical situation. These are all things that you want to run by your provider. Why? Because I don't know you specifically and your medical profile or the profile for you and your baby. You know, and your doctor knows. So having these ideas can give you a jump-off point to then customize what will work for you, okay? So the raspberry leaf tea, dates is definitely important to help just soften that cervix and get you ready. Also, curb walking. It's simply where you are on the curb, or some people do curb walking on the stairs. and you are just walking on the stairs. This is crucial in opening up your pelvis. You have to do that before birth. And let me just put a pause in here and say this. I can't even tell you how many people I've talked to that the first thing they say is, I want an unmedicated birth, or I don't want a lot of interventions. Like, I just want it to be a natural birth, is what I hear a lot. What I know is a disconnect is that most women don't understand that in order to do that, you need to prepare beforehand. It's crucial. It's part of, just like you are putting together a nursery and you're buying onesies and bottles and pacifiers, you should be doing the prep work for your body, the stretches, the walking and staying in motion. All of that stuff is just as important as buying the baby gear. Why? Because you have to make room for baby. When you are preparing your nursery for your baby, you're making room for the baby, right? Well, in the same way that you're making room for the baby, your body needs to make room for that baby to be born, to be birthed. You have to open up your pelvis. In order to open up your pelvis, you have to be doing the stretches, and you need to be walking. You need to be drinking the water. It's just as important. Now, people might say, well, I didn't do that and I still had a natural birth. Yes, there are women that do it. But the best way is to prepare your body. Your baby has to descend. You need to make room for baby. If that is understood, please make a comment in the comments. And the reason why I say that is because I hear so many times women are like, I don't really want all of that. I just want to have a natural birth. But then, like, the pre-work that's required isn't being done. You have to do the pre-work. You have to. It's the best way to give your body the best chance at having a successful birth. Okay? All right. Now, let's move on to the final hack, which is having the birth plan that you need. I'm trying to see, That's funny. Okay, so the last hack is to have the birth plan you need. And here's why that is so important. Because birth is not predictable. It's not predictable. It is very common to be in the thick of birth and have your plans change. That is actually part of birth. I think having and adjusting your mindset to the idea that things may not go as planned, but having a birth plan and having pre-made decisions already thought out in your head is going to prepare you for all the what ifs. And that should be the purpose of your birth plan. It should be a living, breathing, flexible document, not just some kind of PDF you pull off of, the internet when you Google birth plan. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. You need something that will help you to predetermine what your decisions are going to be in case that happens. That is a good plan. Why? Because when you're in the middle of trying to breathe through intense contractions, it's impossible for you to be able to focus on how to make an informed decision for yourself or for your baby. But if you've already pre-thought about all of the options that are available to you, and then you already determine what you're going to do in case a certain situation arises, then you're actually able to make that pivot and still have a positive birth experience. Now, let me put a pause right here and just say this. Out of all my clients that have given birth, I've had some where things go pretty smooth and we're able to get through to the end with very little intervention. Kudos, right? All the prep work we've done up beforehand has paid off for us. And then I've had clients that we are doing all of prep work. We get through labor, right? And things take a turn. Something happens with the mom's health or her blood pressure. Something happens with the baby, or they're monitoring the baby and they can see the baby being under stress. Okay, you would be amazed at some of the things that have happened during some of the births that I've attended, right? And yet, all of my moms, when they think back on their birth experience, they have told me I still had a positive birth experience. Now, you might say, how is that possible? It's possible because we planned for the what if. We planned for the what if. And so what happens is when you have a plan in place, you're not thrown way off. You just review the plan. And you say, oh, yeah, we've already talked about this. That is still something that we want to consider. Let's move forward. So what seems like an issue really isn't an issue because we've already calculated it into the plan. That is so powerful to be able. Listen, birth is one of the core memories that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. You can ask a mom, right, that is her kids are in their 20s or 30s or even more. And if you ask them about specifics of what happened at each child's birth, there will be things that they still can recount years and years later. That's how important your birth story is. It's something you're going to remember for years to come. That's why it's so important to make a plan and to be prepared. That's why. Because you're going to remember it. I always say, whenever I'm talking to moms, I always say, people don't just like wing a wedding. They don't wing it. They get a wedding planner. They shop around for venues. They, try on a couple different dresses. They, test out caterers. Like, it's a whole situation to plan a wedding. Why? Because weddings and memories of your wedding, they last a lifetime. Even in the rare case that the marriage doesn't, those memories are still there, right? Hopefully it does. I'm hoping for the best. But in the event that something happens with the marriage itself, those wedding memories are still there. And so most people want to have and want to preserve those memories, right? And so the same thing is true for birth, probably even 10 times more, because it is something that is lasting. You can't undo what you've already experienced in terms of birth, right? Your children are there, and you want to have a positive memory attached with that. And so with that being said, having a birth plan, right, that prepares you not just for what you want and your birth preferences, but also the what ifs, the just in cases, right? That is where the real power is. That is truly where the real power is. Now, if you have been here since I started the live, first off, kudos to you. And also, I promised that I was going to give you a bonus hack. So here it is. After everything that we talked about today, I want you to take time to do a labor review. What do I mean? I want you to run a test. Test yourself. Review what you've already done. Okay? I want you to go over your birth plan. I want you to look and see what has been prepared and what still needs to be prepared. I want you to take an assessment. I want you to check your hospital bag. Make sure that you have all the items that you've already determined is necessary. If you want a checklist, it's listed in the description of this video, so you can definitely get a quick printout there if you don't already have one. If you have one, whatever that checklist is, then you need to make sure you have everything included. Okay? Why am I encouraging you to do this? Have the review. Do a test run, as they say. Why? Because doing a test run is going to make it even more normal and natural for you when the time comes. That's number one. It's going to make it super normal and natural for you when the time comes because you've already kind of done a test run. Okay? Number two, and by a test run, not just a hospital bag, not just seeing what's prepared and what isn't, what you've stocked and what you haven't. I want you to make sure you have a list of who needs to be communicated. When are you going to let everybody know that you're headed to the hospital? All of that kind of stuff. Who's going to be the pediatrician after the baby is born? Not just your OB, you need a pediatrician. Most hospitals require you to have one before being discharged. All of that kind of stuff is what you're going to do a test run through so that you are already in the mode, right? And it feels natural for you when you actually go into labor. That's number one. And then number two, it helps to build that confidence. It helps to build the confidence. So when I talked about before, if you're feeling overwhelmed and just not confident, maybe you're a first-time mom and you don't really understand like what to expect, just having that test run will help to build your confidence because you'll see the progress that you've made. You'll see the things that you have done, the things that you have prepared. Okay? So definitely keep that in mind. Finally, I'm just going to say this. If you are not already in my due date diaries, that's my email group. Every week, y'all, I send out emails with pertinent information of things that I don't talk about anywhere else. You get the real, you get the raw, you get the discounts and exclusive access to everything that I release. So it's just the community that you want to be in because you get doula tips like right in your inbox. It's amazing. If you have not already signed up, the sign up link is in the description of this video. So be sure to check it out and get on the list. Every Tuesday, like clockwork, you can expect to get those free tips, tricks, hacks, PDF downloads, all of that stuff right to your inbox. So definitely check that out. And if you are not inside of Bump to Bundle Blueprint, what are you even doing? That's what I really want to know. What are you even doing? The link to that is linked in the description box below as well, along with certain playlists that will help you kind of binge watch and get yourself where you need to be so that you can birth with clarity and with confidence when that time comes. That is truly my hope for you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that this has truly been helpful for you. It says, I hear you. I'll do my stretches to get an easier or more successful labor. Yes, yes. That is going to be super important. And the reason why is, like I said before, doing those stretches makes the difference in terms of your baby being able to descend in the pelvis. You've heard a lot of people who will have problems during labor, and a lot of that can be remedied if we can get you into the right position and if your hips and your pelvis are open. Sometimes I've had clients that have had trouble progressing in labor, so they will start to have labor, right? But it won't progress. We do some stretches. I turn them in certain positions, and boom, we're right back to progressing. And oftentimes by that point, they're progressing quickly. I've seen people go from like a 4 all the way to a 10 in a matter of like an hour and a half, 2 hours. That's how important stretching is. Now, again, there's a lot that goes into that, how many pregnancies they've had, um, what kind of shape their body was in before giving birth. It's a whole lot that goes into it, but it is possible, is what I'm telling you. So definitely in your night routine, I talked about it. Have a routine that you get on. Oftentimes, and this is an extra bonus. Something that really works well for me is a habit tracker, whether it's on your phone or in your planner. Write down certain habits that you want to try and make sure you hit before you give birth. And every day, just kind of mark them off because sometimes you forget, right? Just seeing those little check marks really help me because it helps me to see what days I've done it, what days I've missed. And so all of that is super important in terms of the consistency. The consistency. But yes, I'm super excited for you. I'm super excited that you will be doing the labor stretches. And I'm super excited to hear how your birth goes. I'm always just thinking about you guys and hoping for the best because I just know that that is possible. Even when it doesn't look the way you think it's going to look, it's still the best. It's still the best. So adjusting our expectations to understand that birth is going to come with challenges. It's going to come with changes. We pivot and we keep moving, but we don't stop. We don't slow down. We keep going till we cross the finish line. I hope this was super helpful for you, and I hope that you guys have an amazing day. Whatever questions that you have, even after this, if you are watching the replay, leave them in the comments. I will be sure to answer questions, to chat in the comments. I absolutely love to chat with you guys and to keep up. Otherwise, have a happy birthday. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.